What up, boys? Welcome to a different type of video today. We're going to be discussing the new triple draft mode. So, I know this video might not get like a lot of attention because nobody cares about triple draft because it's just in friendlies. But in my opinion, it's a really interesting concept, and I think eventually, once it's brought into the actual game and used for challenges and stuff, it's going to be really cool to play competitively, I guess. So, I'm going to bring this up on screen about now. I missed my finger click, but about now, and yeah, so essentially I have played 10 games of this new draft mode, which doesn't sound like a lot because really it's not. This is just sort of like a small side project where I can sort of gauge, the picks. So here are all of the picks I got in my triple draft 10 games from two different accounts. So technically I played 20 games and saw all of the picks, but yeah, so what I've done here is I've written down in freeze, so you can see one of the picks was Gobhart, Cannon, Inferno Tower. This was pick number 1 in this category. And I've categorized all of the different picks that I had. So if we quickly run through the categories so we know what we're talking about, we have the anti-air category, we have the building/DPS category, which is a little bit weird. We have the extremely weird support category, which I don't quite understand myself, but we'll get into more later. We have the swarm category, which is pretty self-explanatory. We have small spells, which again, pretty self-explanatory. We have splash, mini tank, big spells, and win conditions. And on this sheet here, these are just all the categories, like just put in single. These are all the cards in the game, and these are the cards that actually don't appear in any category. So there's no clone, no giant skull, no heal, no mirror, and no free musketeers. So in these categories, they're pretty self-explanatory. Anti-air are all of the cards that hit air, essentially, but ones that aren't buildings, aren't win conditions, aren't mini tanks, and stuff like that. The only one I can think of that's missing is free musketeers, as we saw in the other sheet, and I think that's done because it's so spell dependent, so they don't want free musketeers to be in there. But yeah, very essentially, anti-air appears in 200% of games, meaning it appears at least once and will appear at least twice. You will always have two picks that are anti-air. There'll never be no more, there'll never be any less. It's always two anti-air picks. Moving into the next green one, we'll do all the green ones first because they're easy to explain. Win conditions. These appear in 100% of games. You always get one win condition. So, as you can see, Godbow, Royal Hogs, Expo, all of these, they're all in there, except potentially Giant Skeleton and Free Musketeers you won't be seeing. These ones are pretty self-explanatory, and I really like this because you're guaranteed a win condition, and your opponent is as well, and you know you're not going to get a trash one, because if you're offered free win conditions, it's very, very rare that they're going to be, like, all trash win conditions. So if I take a random pick, this one, Hog Rider, Balloon, Royal Hogs. Hog Rider and Balloon are pretty good. Royal Hogs are pretty good if you know your opponent's spell already, and they don't have Fireball. If we take another one, Royal Hogs, God Barrel, Wall Breakers. God Barrel, very good in draft. Royal Hogs, as I just said, if you know your opponent doesn't have Fireball, very good. And Wall Breakers just good to cycle. So yeah, I like that you always have a win condition. I like that you'll always have enough anti-air to deal with everything that you need to, because you know how much anti-air you're going to get, and you know you're going to get a win condition for sure. Another thing that you're guaranteed is a big spell, and these, again, are pretty self-explanatory. You're going to get a choice of 3 random big spells. Now, it is a little bit weird, because I don't think Freeze or Earthquake should be in here. In my opinion, these two are more so effect spells than they are, like, your generic big spell. So in my opinion, it should be Lightning, Fireball, Poison, Rocket. And that's it. I think it should just be the 4 big spells. And yes, you can have some overlap, right? You get 3 random big spells, your opponent gets 3 random big spells, but I don't think that actually matters. Like, because you only have 4, there'll be some overlap. You can have the same big spell, but I don't think that should matter. Ow. I don't think it should matter. I think it's more important that you don't have Freeze and Earthquake. And the reason they've put Freeze and Earthquake in there is because if you check all of these, right, there's Lightning, Fireball, Earthquake, Rocket, Freeze, Poison, right? Lightning, Fireball, Earthquake, Rocket, Freeze, Poison. They're all the same. If you look, every 6 are the same 6 big spells. They're just mixed up in a different order between you and your opponent. So yeah, I think these ones shouldn't be put in here. I understand why they've done it, but really it makes it bad, because if you get Earthquake, Freeze, and Rocket, for example, or even this pick here is bad enough, like Lightning, Earthquake, Rocket, very bad. This one here, Freeze, Earthquake, Rocket, one that I actually got, as I just said, one that would be very poor to get. I actually got that. This one here is possibly the worst. Freeze, Lightning, and Rocket. You don't really want any of those in draft. They're so expensive or just useless like Freeze. So yeah, in my opinion, not very good. Now moving on to small spell, the same deal here. Literally, it's just the same 6 spells, and they're cycled around in a different order between you and your opponent. My only qualm here is that Tornado shouldn't be in it, and maybe even Arrow shouldn't be in it. I understand Arrow's being in it, and it's rarely going to be picked, but I don't think Tornado should be in the small spell. I think maybe you even have a separate category for these effect spells like heal, like freeze, like mirror, like earthquake, like tornado. All of those can have their own category, and you and your opponent randomly get one, opposed to you maybe having to have an effect spell and your opponent not. But again, these two are both 100%. So one of the big issues with draft is that you don't always get the appropriate spells, and you still might not, because you might be shafted and get like those spells that you don't want, so the effect spells or the rockets and stuff like that. But I think it's better than normal draft, where you might not get a spell, or you might not get a win condition, or you might not get like an anti-air card. Now, these next categories are a little bit weird. So if you want to add up all these categories, you get 300%, which means if you played 3 games, you'd see them all once. But it's a little bit weird in how it works. So a building or a DPS unit. Let me explain the categories first, I guess. Building or DPS, it is what it says on the tin. You get either a random building or you get something, a DPS card. So if we look on the screen, you can have Raw Recruits, you can have Mini P.E.K.K.A, you can have Lumberjack, you can have just something like that. You can even have P.E.K.K.A in there. So it's a big, strong DPS card or a building, which I think is actually a very nice category to have. It's a little bit weird, because sometimes you get a building, sometimes you won't. Like, you can see in pick number 14, it was all troops. But in pick number 13, which would have been my opponent's pick, and 14 would have been my pick, it's all buildings. So sometimes you have to have a building, sometimes you can't get a building, which is a little bit weird, but at the same time, it's a nice variance category that doesn't entirely ruin the gameplay if, you're on the side of just a troop or just a building. Support is the weirdest one. I didn't even know what to call this category. We'll look in here, right? I think there are 7 cards. There's Night Witch, Elixir Collector, Bandit, E-Barbs, Cannon Cart, Rage, and Bowler. What? What is this pick? I really have no idea. Night Witch, Bandit, Cannon Cart, E-Barbs, Bowler. There may be support, but then what are we doing with Rage and Elixir Collector? Like, why are they in there? I don't really know what to call this category, but I've just called it support with 3 question marks, because it's support, but is it really support, Swarm, again, very, very simplistic. It's just a random swarm. Tombstone, Skeleton Barrel, Skellies, Gobgang, Guards, Skarmy. Don't know if Skelly Barrel should be in here, but it's just a swarm, basically, and I'm okay with that category. You're going to get swarm 70% of your games. And in Mini Tank, again, very simple. So I said in a video recently, you're going to see on Friday why I think Supercell want Fisherman to be a Mini Tank. He's in the Mini Tank category. He's with Knight, he's with Ice Golem, he's with Prince, he's with Valkyries, with Rascals. He's with all of these Mini Tank cards. So I do think they want him to be a Mini Tank, and I think his balance change is a little bit weird for this category, but, you can just argue that, oh, well, they don't, balance the game based on their new draft mode. And the last one, which is rarely ever seen, like legit 30% of the time, I didn't even think this was a category overall. I just had these sort of off to the side and didn't really know what to do with them. But yeah, in 30% of games, you're going to see a splash pick, which is Dark Prince, Mega Knight, Fire Spirits, Ghost, Ice Spirits, Bomber, and I believe Bowler. So yes, 7 cards again in that one, and you're going to get a random 6. You'll have 3 and your opponent will have 3. That's how that one works. And yeah, it's just, I guess that's a nice one. What I find a bit weird is the percentages here. I think, like, obviously because I haven't played that many games, I don't have a exact percentage. I think this would be 66, 66, 66, 66, 66, and 33 if I played enough games. But again, I only played 10 games because I got a good estimate of everything from those 10 games, so I didn't feel like I need to play more. But yeah, so basically you're either going to get 2 or 3 of these, and if you get 2, you're going to have this, which only happens 33% of the time, but otherwise you'll get 3 of these, and they're 66% chances. And yeah, I just think that's very cool. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to switch over to some gameplay that I recorded earlier, and you're going to see how these categories actually come up. When I get the categories, I can list them. I can go, okay, this is that, this is that, this is that, and I know the percentages, and I know what I'm going to get, and I actually use one of these categories, one of the 100% categories, very well to know what my opponent has and doesn't have in hand. So I think if you are into the triple draft mode and you're ready to get good at it for when it comes to be competitive, then this video is very, very helpful. I know it's been a bit long. I've actually been talking for over 10 minutes now, which I didn't expect. I thought I'd be at maybe 5 minutes just to go through them all. But yeah, that's actually all I have for this. I'm going to switch over to the gameplay and hope you enjoy that. Oh yeah, and also shoutouts to Voidrev for playing in this game. He's from the Discord, so if you haven't joined that already, a link is in the description. And yeah, maybe you could be in one of these videos that I seem to be inviting Discord members to. But yeah, enjoy the gameplay and thank you, Voidrev. Alright, so welcome to the actual gameplay portion of this video. I'm just going to explain what these picks are basically. So this is, of course, your win condition. I think I'm going to go with Balloon maybe and just Tracker's air defense. This is, of course, Big Spell. I don't really know what I want. Maybe Fireball? Oh, I didn't kill stuff. I wish I'd had, like, Poison there. Sadness. This is Building / DPS, I guess. Don't know what I should go for here. Don't really want Inferno. Don't really want Gob Hurt. I'm going to have to go Gob Hurt. Okay. This is your splash pick. I guess I'm going to go with Horde and hope he doesn't take Baby Dragon. This here is your support, I guess. It's also very trash. I hate that pick extremely. This is one of your air defense cards, I guess. I have to go quicker than this. I am taking time. Alright, let's go double minions. This is a splash, please help me, this one. And I got one more pick, which is small spell. Of course, I'm going to have to go with arrows, which sucks extremely. But at least I know he doesn't have arrows for all of my minion cards. Okay, so that was essentially me just proving that these categories are actually real and I haven't just made them up. This is my 11th game that I've been tracking, I guess, and they would all fit those categories and pretty much have the same percentages, so that's always good. Alright, I guess we just play this game out. This is a lot of stuff coming in right now. Alright, let's kill this lumberjack, and hopefully this battle ram dies. Yes, thank you, minion horde. My guys. He maybe should have saved that mega minion for my horde. I don't know what he has. Maybe he has an answer. That's sort of an answer? I guess it's better than nothing. Minion horde's one of those cards, though, isn't it, where either that happens or he can counter it fully. And he's just used 2 air defense cards, which might be his only 2 air defense cards, depending. I think they have to be, you know. I'm not sure, but I think they might have to be. Let's send in an ice spirit just in case, so we can fireball. Might have to end up fireballing this. Yes, look at that. We know the draft pool, so I know what cards he has and doesn't have. I know he can't have another air defense card because Mega Minion isn't in another category and Inferno Dragon isn't in another category. They're only in the air defense category. So, yeah, if you know, if you know all of the categories, then you can do very well in this mode by doing almost no actual game skill. Okay, so he's spamming on the counter attack because he sort of has to. That gob hut was a weird decision by me because I wanted to block the. Okay, he is just spamming. Please help. Oh, no. He's actually going to get me. I can't afford this fireball in time. He's actually just got me. Well, all of my hard work has just been reversed. I can give you that emote too. But I know he's out of air defense again, right? He just used both of them. So, like, what's he going to do if I just go 1 and then I go 2? Surely nothing. Oh, rocket. But fairs, I managed to tank for it. He couldn't block either. Gonna have to go with horde. Sucky suck. Okay. Okay, it doesn't get a hit. I thought it was gonna get a hit for a second, but luckily it did not. Battle ram, that's gonna die, so I'm all good here. I guess we just start a gob hut here and hope, maybe? We can also ice spirit, hope it'll kill that mega minion. No, okay. But we were close. Then we had Inferno Dragon, so I go here, here, fireball in here. Alright, he did get the luck, luckily. Maybe he'll go out of range. Or maybe the Inferno Dragon dies. Yes, there we go. Alright, got that balloon hit. Again, using my win condition and knowing what he has. Oh, Mega Knight. Again, he doesn't have a spell for Minion Horde, does he? Like, I don't think he can have one. Because I have arrows and fireball, which are the 2 main ones. He took rocket over poison, which is interesting. But, yeah, I guess that was actually a very good demonstration of how you can use your knowledge of the draft pool, I guess, to your advantage. And I knew that he only had, you know, 2 air defense cards. He just used them multiple times, so I was able to get a win. And again, if we go here, I had win condition, big spell, building DPS, one of my air defenses, I guess. I had a support, I had another air defense, I had a splash, and I had a small spell. So yes, it's actually very consistent. And if you can use it well enough, you will know what your opponent has and doesn't have 4 counters for things like balloon that you know needs one of those categories, needs the anti-air category to be countered. So yeah, you can actually work it out very well. So yeah, boys, back to my face now because I'm done with the gameplay stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit weird. It was a little bit of research stuff. Then I just sat down and talked about my research. But actually, I really enjoyed doing this. So yeah, if you have any different like suggestions wise that I can do that's similar to this, then do let me know. I really enjoyed doing this. Hopefully it helped, and hopefully triple draft becomes a real thing soon. Because when it does, I'm just going to link people this video, and they're going to see all of this stuff, unless they update it and just ruin all of my work. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have some constructive comments about triple draft, maybe some changes you'd like to see, or maybe something about the database that I collected. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and peace.